July 4th, 1776. We declare our independence from a tyrant. You know, I was walking around today. I was walking my dog this morning, and me and my dog were going north. And I see behind me up the block a little child, 18 months old, maybe 2 years old, walking around unsupervised. Walks into the middle of the street. So I stop my dog and I look back and I say, what's going on here? And no one's with the child, so I say, okay, I better intervene, do the right thing, stand up against injustice. So I walk over to get a closer look at the situation, and there's a man sitting in his car right by the child. So I stop the man and I say, excuse me, is this your child? And he goes, no. Am I having connection problems here? Well, he goes, no. And I say, well, are you going to help this child? And he goes, oh, well, I don't live here. You don't live here. So there's an 18-month-old child walking around alone, and this man wouldn't step up to help him. So I knocked on the door of the house it was in front of, and the lady comes to the door, and I say, you know, excuse me, ma'am, is this your child? And oh my God, you, my other child must have left the gate open in the backyard. And the mom gets her child, and any potential crisis is averted. And that gets me to thinking, where has America's sense of standing up against injustice gone? On July 4th, 1776, our forefathers stood up against a tyrant. And now the humanity's been driven so far out of us through our schooling system, through popular culture, through GMOs in our food, and it's like they've dumbed down all society, and people don't stand up for justice anymore. They look to the government to stand up for justice. But just yesterday, I did a reading of the Declaration of Independence. And in that reading, I said, the government derives its power through the consent of the governed. Hey Joe, how's it going? Family. And the problem is that people have forgotten that. They think that the government rules over us, and they don't. They get their power from us. So instead, people look to the government to stand up against injustice. The problem is that the government are the ones usually who are the greatest creators of injustice. You know, they create a problem, and what they do in the name of equality or whatever their grievance is at the time of trying to get the country health care, what they're actually doing is creating problems, creating corporate monopolies right in front of our face. And we need to regain the spirit of that. When you see injustice, you need to step up. You need to stand against injustice, because if you're not standing against injustice, oh, I like this. Look at this. July 4th. Look at that. The flag right behind me. You need to stand against injustice, or one day it will find you in the terms of government tyranny. You know, we forget the past. We forget where we come from. I was listening to Stefan Molyneux the other day, and he brought up a good point. People risked everything for freedom. They came to America on boats across oceans where there was a good chance they would die. And often they had no money. They would sell themselves and their children as indentured servants just to come here. And they would essentially sell themselves into slavery for 7 years. And they did this because